Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Ramya with the Midday News. The headlines. Democracy is ingrained in our nature and part of our lives, says Prime Minister. Inaugurates virtually all India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla. Fight against corona pandemic is a great example of a collective effort, says Prime Minister. Kartarpur corridor reopens from today after 20 months ahead of Guru Parav on Friday. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtriya Raksha Samarpan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi. More than 113 crore 68 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.28%. Night curfew to be imposed in Jammu city from today as COVID-19 positivity rate is on the rise. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceuticals sector tomorrow. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra says entertainment industry witnesses a huge growth and can reach $100 billion mark soon. India and Bangladesh to jointly host the 2031 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the first T20 of 3-match series in Jaipur this evening. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that democracy is not just a system for a country, it is ingrained in our nature and part of life in India. Addressing the inaugural session of the 82nd All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla today via video conferencing, Prime Minister said,
भारत के लिए लोकतंत्र सिर्फ एक व्यवस्था नहीं है। लोकतंत्र भारत का स्वभाव है, भारत की सहज प्रवृत्ति है। आपकी ये यात्रा इसलिए भी और विशेष हो गई है क्योंकि इस समय भारत अपनी आजादी के 75 साल का पर्व मना रहा है, अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है। ये संयोग इस कार्यक्रम की विशिष्टता को तो बढ़ाता ही है, साथ ही हमारी जिम्मेदारियों को भी कई गुना कर देता है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi stressed we have to take the country to newer heights, achieve extraordinary goals in the years to come. These resolutions will be fulfilled only by Sabka Prayas. Continuing with the importance of Sabka Prayas, the Prime Minister said whether it is finding solutions to the decade-old problems of the Northeast or completion of all the big projects of development that have been stuck for decades, many such works in the country have been done in the past years. It has been done by everyone's efforts. Referring to the corona pandemic, the Prime Minister said the solidarity with which all the states have fought against this COVID epidemic is commendable.
भारत 110 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज ऐसा बड़ा आंकड़ा पार कर चुका है जो कभी असंभव लगता था, वो आज संभव हो रहा है। इसलिए हमारे सामने भविष्य के जो सपने हैं, जो अमृत संकल्प हैं, वो भी पूरे होंगे। देश और राज्यों के एकजुट प्रयासों से ही ये पूरे होने वाले हैं। ये समय अपनी सफलताओं को आगे बढ़ाने का है और साथ ही एक नई सोच, नए विजन के साथ हमें भविष्य के लिए नए नियम और नीतियां भी बनानी है।
Mr. Modi insisted that the traditions and systems of the houses of legislatures should be inherently Indian. He called for policies and laws of the government to strengthen the Indian emotion of Ek Bharat, Shreshtha Bharat. Most importantly, the conduct of people's representatives in the House should be according to Indian values, and it is the responsibility of all, he added. The Prime Minister said a country is full of diversity. In the thousands of years of development, we have come to realize that in the midst of diversity flows the grand divine and unbroken stream of unity. This unbroken stream of unity cherishes that diversity and preserves it. The Prime Minister gave an idea of one nation, one legislative platform, a portal that not only gives the necessary technological boost to our parliamentary system, but also works to connect all the democratic units of the country. Mr. Modi stressed that the next 25 years are very important for India. In this, he urged the parliamentarians to realize only one mantra, duty, duty and duty.
अगले 25 वर्ष भारत के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। 25 साल के बाद हम आजादी के 100 साल मनाने वाले हैं। क्या इसमें हम एक मंत्र पूरी मजबूती के साथ, पूरे समर्पण के साथ, पूरी जिम्मेदारी के साथ एक मंत्र को चरितार्थ कर सकते हैं क्या? मेरी दृष्टि से वो मंत्र है कर्तव्य, 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 कर्तव्य ही कर्तव्य। सदन में भी कर्तव्य की बात, सदन से संदेश भी कर्तव्य का ही हो।
Speaking on the occasion, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla spoke about the need to make the legislative bodies more powerful and efficient. He said there's a need to make the parliamentary committees more effective to strengthen democracy.
हमारा ध्यान इस बात पर भी है कि विधानमंडलों में होने वाली चर्चा अधिक अनुशासित हो, सारगर्भित हो, गरिमा में हो और संसदीय विशेषाधिकारों में स्पष्टता लाए। बदलते परिप्रेक्ष्य में संसदीय समिति के कार्यक्रम को भी अधिक प्रभावी बनाया जाना और सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी का अधिक उपयोग हो ताकि जनप्रतिनिधि अपने संसदीय दायित्वों का सम्यक निर्वहन कर सके।
Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur said State Vidhan Sabha is the first Vidhan Sabha of the country to adopt e-Vidhan system. He said despite being a small state, the state has made remarkable progress as compared to the bigger states. Mr. Thakur also urged the Prime Minister to set up a national e-academy in the Assembly complex at Dharmashala. Earlier Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha Harivansh Narayan Singh, Speaker Vipin Singh Parmar and Leader of the Opposition Mukesh Agnihotri also addressed the conference.
Kartarpur corridor, which allows Sikh pilgrims to travel visa-free to the Kartarpur Gurdwara in Pakistan via the Atari-Wagah border, reopens today after 20 months, ahead of Guru Purab, the birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji on Friday. In a series of tweets, Home Minister Amit Shah said the reopening of the Kartarpur corridor will benefit a large number of Sikh pilgrims. He said this decision reflects the immense reverence of the Modi government towards Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and our Sikh community. The nation is all set to celebrate the Prakash Utsav of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji on Friday. He said Modi government's decision to reopen the Kartarpur Sahib corridor will further boost the joy and happiness across the country.
Guru Nanak Dev Ji सिर्फ भारत के, सिर्फ सिख पंथ के ही नहीं थे, बल्कि उनके विचार पूरी दुनिया, पूरी मानवता की धरोहर है।
Former Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh thanked the Prime Minister and the Home Minister for their decision to reopen the corridor. Earlier, leaders of the Bharatiya Janata Party in Punjab met President Ramnath Kovind and Amit Shah requesting that the corridor be reopened. Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikant Das has called for a deeper discussion on the issue of cryptocurrencies. Speaking at State Bank of India's Economics Conclave yesterday, Mr. Das said that RBI sees serious concerns for cryptocurrencies from the point of view of macroeconomic and financial stability, and there are far deeper issues involved. Hence, much more well-informed discussions are needed on the issue. The RBI governor doubted the current trading numbers in cryptocurrencies and said the investors are being lured to open accounts by offering credit.
More than 113 crore 68 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Health Ministry said over 67 lakh 82,000 doses were administered yesterday. India reported over 10,000 new cases to the last 24 hours. The ministry said the recovery rate is currently at 98.28% and it is the highest since March last year. Over 12,000 people recovered in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, 301 deaths were reported. Government has said that over 127 crore 23 lakh vaccine doses have been provided to states and UTs so far through centers free of cost channel and through direct state procurement category. Health Ministry said more than 20 crore 91 lakh balance and unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and UTs to be administered.
In Jammu and Kashmir, night curfew will be imposed in Jammu city, the winter capital of the Union Territory, from today as COVID-19 positivity rate is on the rise in the region. Our correspondent reports that in the view of rising COVID positivity rate in Jammu, the District Disaster Management Authority, DDMA, has decided to impose night curfew from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. from today onwards. Jammu District Magistrate Anshul Garg warned that the violation of the restrictions will invite strict action, and he advised people living in the city to follow COVID-19 SOP and get fully vaccinated. The DM said the DDMA held a detailed review of the COVID situation in the city and decided that immediate measures are required as the positivity rate has increased by 0.2% recently.
Civil Aviation Ministry has allowed airlines to serve food and magazines in all domestic flights. Earlier, these services were stopped in the domestic flights in view of the COVID-19 pandemic. In its order, the ministry said the airlines operating flights on domestic sectors may provide meal services on board without restrictions on duration of the flight. Talking to All India Radio News, Dr. Rajesh Malhotra of AIIMS, New Delhi, has asked people to be vigilant as dengue, malaria and typhoid cases are rising and COVID is not yet gone.
दवाओं का सेवन बिना डॉक्टरी सलाह के करना खतरनाक हो सकता है। अमेरिका में पेन किलर से होने वाली मृत्यु का आंकड़ा लाखों में है। ऐसा नहीं है कि दर्द की दवाइयां जो है वो किसी भी साइड इफेक्ट के बिना है। उनमें कई तरह के साइड इफेक्ट हो सकते हैं। सेल्फ मेडिकेशन कभी भी ना करें, डॉक्टर की सलाह से ही इलाज करें, क्योंकि आप बीमारी और दवा दोनों से होने वाली प्रॉब्लम से बच सकते हैं।
In a bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series, Dr. Geeta Kampani from Safdarjung Hospital will be with us tonight to answer the queries related to coronavirus. Listeners can ask questions to the expert from 9:30 p.m. on toll-free number 1800115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on a Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This live program can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.nic.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official.
The school, colleges and libraries will remain shut in Delhi till further order in view of the air pollution. Briefing reporters, City Environment Minister Gopal Rai said there will be 100% work from home for Delhi government departments till 21st of this month. He said the construction and demolition work will also remain banned till the 21st of November in the city. Mr. Rai said vehicles except for those for essential services from outside have been banned from entering the city. The minister informed that 1,000 private CNG buses will be hired to strengthen public transport in the national capital. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Democracy is ingrained in our nature and part of our life, says Prime Minister, inaugurates virtually All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla. Fight against corona pandemic is a great example of our collective effort, says Prime Minister. Kartarpur corridor reopens from today after 20 months ahead of Gurpurab on Friday. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi. More than 113 crore 68 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.28%. Night curfew to be imposed in Jammu city from today as COVID-19 positivity rate is on the rise. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceutical sector tomorrow. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra says entertainment industry witnesses a huge growth and can reach $100 billion mark soon. India and Bangladesh to jointly host the 2031 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the first T20 of 3-match series in Jaipur this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, Follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Midday News. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh inaugurated the 3-day Rashtriya Raksha Samarpan Parv in Jhansi, Uttar Pradesh a short while ago. Mr. Singh addressed the gathering after inaugurating the event at Mukt Kashi Manch. The Defence Minister will also inaugurate the Armed Forces Equipment Display and Indian Air Force Air Show at Hathi Ground. Our correspondent reports that the Parv will come to an end on Friday with the address of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Mr. Modi will dedicate several new initiatives of the Defence Ministry to the nation in a grand ceremony being organized in the precincts of Jhansi Fort on the same day, which also is the birth anniversary of Rani Lakshmi Bai. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has urged all the militant outfits of Northeast to shun violence and return to the mainstream. Talking to newspersons at Buxa district today, Mr. Sharma said that violence is not the solution to any problem. He said that several outfits have already returned to peace process and expressed hope that the remaining groups of Northeast would too follow the same.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceutical sector tomorrow at 4 p.m. through video conferencing. Chemical and Fertilizers Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandviya will also be present on the occasion. This is a distinctive initiative that aims to bring together key Indian and international stakeholders from the government, industry, academia, investors and researchers to discuss and strategize priorities to foster a thriving innovation system and pharmaceuticals industry in India. It will also highlight the opportunities in the Indian pharma industry that has huge growth potential. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has called upon innovators, techies and researchers to create knowledge and explore solutions that are useful for the happiness of mankind. Speaking after inaugurating 3-day Bengaluru Tech Summit, the Vice President advised them to use IT, BT, duty and be mighty. He added that the goal must be to reform, perform and transform. During the inaugural event, the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, addressed the gathering virtually. He expressed happiness over improving bilateral cooperation between India and Australia in the area of climate change, cybersecurity, defence, mines and minerals, clean energy, space science and quantum computing. Israel Prime Minister Naftali Bennett delivered a speech virtually saying that both India and Israel have forged collaborations in various areas of technology. Governor Thwarchand Gehlot, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai, IT and BT Minister C.S. Aswatha Narayana and Bitcoin Chief Kiran Mazumdar Shaw were present on the occasion. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra has expressed confidence that the entertainment industry will see very good days in future. Virtually addressing CII Big Picture Summit today, Mr. Chandra said, during the lockdown, people consumed more content than in a normal year and they were hooked to the content. He said in the last 1.5 years, quality has improved. The secretary said people are finding opportunities in the new scenario. He said the theatres are now open and people are going to cinemas. Speaking at the summit, Prasar Bharati Chief Executive Officer Shashi Sekhar Vempati said the public broadcaster on its end is taking a lot of effort on different fronts to innovate and be a part of the transformation in media and entertainment sector. He said during the last 3 to 4 years, there has been a change in Prasar Bharati through digitalization. Mr. Vempati said every Doordarshan channel and every All India radio station now has digital presence spanning multiple platforms. He said, now through News on AIR mobile app, people anywhere in the world are able to listen to their hometown's radio station and it is becoming very popular worldwide.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewelry. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India, Jago Grahak Jago. And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
17th of November is the death anniversary of the valiant hero of the freedom struggle and great revolutionary, Lala Lajpat Rai. Popularly known as Punjab Kesari or the Lion of Punjab, he was a prominent member of the Lal Bal Pal trio, which included Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal, who changed the political discourse of the independence movement. Lala Lajpat Rai was born on January the 28th, 1865 in Dhudike, Punjab. In 1886, he moved to Hisar and started practicing law. He also took up journalism and contributed articles to several newspapers such as the Tribune.
In 1914, he quit practicing law and focused on India's freedom struggle. Lala Lajpat Rai founded the Indian Home Rule League in New York and launched a monthly journal, Young India, as well as the Hindustan Information Services Association. Due to his involvement with the Indian National Congress and participation in the political agitation in Punjab, Lala Lajpat Rai was deported to Mandalay in Burma without trial in 1907. He returned the same year when the Viceroy Lord Minto failed to produce evidence to further detain him for subversion. He founded the National College at the Bradlaugh Hall in Lahore and enrolled Bhagat Singh as a student.
In 1920, Lala Lajpat Rai was elected the president of the Indian National Congress. He was jailed from 1921 to 1923 for taking part in the non-cooperation movement. After his release, he was elected to the Legislative Assembly. In 1928, the British government set up the Simon Commission to discuss constitutional reforms in India.
When the commission visited Lahore on 30th October 1928, Lala Lajpat Rai led a non-violent march in protest against it because the panel did not include any Indian member.
Simon Commission! Simon!
The Superintendent of Police, James A. Scott, ordered a lathi charge on the protesters and personally assaulted Rai, who sustained severe head injuries. He did not recover from the injuries and died on 17th November 1928 following a heart attack.
Also on the 17th of November 1932, the third and last Roundtable Conference began. It concluded on 24th December 1932. Gandhiji and the Indian National Congress did not attend the conference. Many other Indian leaders were also absent. Like the previous two conferences, little was achieved.
The recommendations were published in a white paper in March 1933 and debated in Parliament afterwards. A joint select committee was formed to analyze the recommendations and formulate a new act for India. The committee produced a draft bill in February 1935, which was enforced as a Government of India Act in July 1935.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
स्वाधीनता संग्राम के वे निशान जो साक्षी हैं हमारे सेनानियों के संघर्ष और बलिदान के। आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष श्रृंखला निशान। हर बुधवार को शाम 4:45 पर कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर।
In today's episode of Nishan, we will bring you a capsule about Bittur, Kanpur, the Centre for War of Independence of 1857. Union Tribal Affairs Minister Arjun Munda yesterday inaugurated Tri-Fed Adi Mahotsav at Delhi Hat in New Delhi in presence of Sukram Munda, grandson of Bhagwan Birsa Munda. In the event, Mr. Munda remembered the sacrifice and contributions of Bhagwan Birsa Munda and said he united the tribals in the forest and fought for independence.
Bharatiya Janata Party today criticized the Delhi government over the air pollution in the national capital. Briefing media, party spokesperson Sabit Patra said Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has blamed the farmers of Punjab and Haryana for the pollution in the city. He wondered if pollution in Delhi is due to stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana, then these two states should have maximum air pollution. The ICC Cricket Council has decided that India and Bangladesh will jointly host the 2031 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. The hosts were selected via a competitive bidding process which was overseen by a board subcommittee chaired by Martin Snedden along with Saurav Ganguly and Ricky Skerritt. The ICC confirmed the 14 host countries for the ICC Men's White Ball events from 2024 to 2031. India will take on New Zealand in the first T20 encounter of the three-match series at the Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur today. The match will start at 7 p.m. Our correspondent reports that Jaipur is all set to host an international cricket match amidst COVID protocol.
An international match will be played today after a span of nearly 8 years at Savai Mansingh Stadium, having a capacity of 30,000. The state government has been permitted to conduct this match with 100% capacity with COVID protocol. In view of this match, there will be a special arrangement of traffic in Jaipur city today. This will be the first international match to be held in Biobubble. Players of both teams will not be able to meet anyone because of this. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
The Regional Met Department has predicted heavy rainfall in 9 Tamil Nadu districts including Chennai, Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram and Ranipet today owing to low pressure area of the southeast Bay of Bengal. The low pressure, which continues to persist in the same place, is likely to move westwards and reach west central and adjoining southwest Bay of Bengal, bringing heavy rains in South Andhra and North Tamil Nadu coasts. Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is experiencing clear sky with smoke. It recorded a minimum temperature of 10 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai may experience rain or thunder showers in the evening or night. It noted a minimum temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. There will be not much change in temperature as it will vary between 25 and 38 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky. The city noted a minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 29 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Democracy is ingrained in our nature and part of our life, says Prime Minister, inaugurates virtually All India Presiding Officers Conference in Shimla. Fight against corona pandemic is a great example of a collective effort, says Prime Minister. Kartarpur corridor reopens from today after 20 months ahead of Guru Parav on Friday. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to inaugurate Rashtriya Raksha Samarpan Parv as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav in Jhansi. More than 113 crore 68 lakh COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate stands at 98.28%. Night curfew to be imposed in Jammu city from today as COVID-19 positivity rate is on the rise. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceuticals sector tomorrow. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra says entertainment industry witnesses a huge growth and can reach $100 billion mark soon. India and Bangladesh to jointly host the 2031 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the first T20 of the 3-match series in Jaipur this evening. And with that, we end the Midday News.